Hi friends, it's Caitlin and welcome back to the Floating Rock podcast. I hope you're having the most incredible day ever. Yesterday I had a conversation with a friend and she was telling me about how she had all these decisions to make and kind of a lot of spinning plates, if you will, kind of happening in her life right now. One of which included maybe looking for a new job. And to me, I'm like, Floating Rock, I'm like change and upgrading and all that kind of stuff is right up my alley. So personally, I was really excited for her. And on the regard of the job search, she kind of was yeah, I feel I'm having all these conversations and definitely planting a lot of seeds, but nothing's been a yes or an offer, a step forward, And it got me thinking about seeds, and it got me thinking about one of my past episodes that was about networking. Go listen to her if you haven't. I think it was pretty good, and especially during college, I was not a networking god is a strong way to put it, but I was really into it, and I felt like I actually had some decent takes on it. Anyway, though, it reminded me of that episode, and a big takeaway of that episode was all about planting seeds and how a lot of these connections are just planting seeds and this and that. And it just inspired me to make this episode today because I think that there is so much behind just the mindset of what planting a seed is. And I guess it's probably the title of this episode, but my big realization, and I'll get us there throughout this episode, is that opportunity is endless. The world is full of opportunity that is just waiting for you if you view everything like a seed. Personally, I was wait, no, this just makes so much sense. And let's just get into it. Let me walk you through my personal thought process as to why that just makes so much sense to me and why, yeah, there is opportunity absolutely everywhere for you if you view everything like a seed. As we know, the way that we currently live, I think a lot of us look for instant gratification in a lot of the things that we do, whether it's literally just opening our phone and getting the gratification of someone liking your post or from just consuming content. And just, as we know, this is not a new kind of conversation of we love instant gratification, not only as humans, but humans now, that's a huge thing for us. And I think that definitely comes into play when it comes to goals and achieving dreams and that kind of thing, is I think a lot of us want instant gratification for stuff. And I think that can be such a big hurdle when it comes to achieving things that you want to achieve. As we know, instant gratification is nothing new at all. And it kind of just got me thinking about things that I want to achieve or maybe other people around me, and how perhaps this mindset shift of planting seeds kind of helps combat that innate want for instant gratification. For the networking, if you see every human you talk to, every person in your network as a seed rather than, okay, well, they didn't give me the job or they didn't this and that, I just feel you will see so much more opportunity around you if you view everything like a seed. What I could see for my friend was, she was telling me this and I'm well, yeah, I can totally see someone at this company, they don't have an opening right now, and then they hear from their friend, and then they had this great conversation with you and then they're oh my god, she'd be perfect for that role at that other company. Let me reach out to that girl. And I'm wait, I love that. And I love how her just having that conversation with someone planted that seed, and she can't even put the weight of that future gratification on it because it just plain and simple lives as a seed, and you don't know what you're going to get out of it. And I feel personally in my own life, I have seen so many situations, if not everything that's currently in my life right now, honestly, is something that's sprouted from a seed that I've planted beforehand. I have two fun examples for you guys right now. Number one, I was offered this opportunity recently to do something a few weekends from now, and I was I don't know, I didn't really have very many details, and part of me just kind of felt what am I gonna even have to do about this? Just kind of feeling maybe not. And, I kind of had other things potentially going on that day. And I'm okay, you know what? I switched my mindset though, because I was okay, the person who offered this to me, I met, number one, through a seed, through doing a different job. And I'm well, okay, I would not expect this offer when I first met this person, if that makes sense. And so I tried to reframe it for myself of I don't know what you're going to exactly get out of that night. However, the probability of me meeting somebody important or meeting someone that's going to come into play in my life later on is nearly 100%. Mind you, this is something that kind of in my career field, if you will. And I was wait, that makes me so much more likely to say yes to this because I'm not expecting to have my life changed immediately. I'm not expecting to like have this awesome networking opportunity and just be handed this job, you know, like, no, like, I love the idea though of reframing my mind to be like, okay, like, by going to this thing, that's potentially planting a seed, or even better, many seeds. And I'm like, okay, you know what? Yes, I will. And like I said, how I even got this person, kind of even got this opportunity, was through a seed I'd planted even before, was participating in something, meeting a bunch of people, right? Second one of my most big, I guess, seeds, if you will, or crops, something that's grown from a seed, is, I think I've told you guys briefly, like back sophomore year of college, I had this big realization, like, I need to network. And so I like went on this whole networking spree, but I reached out to this one writer and he actually agreed to talk to me. We kind of kept in touch. He told me about this film fellowship here in Hawaii, kind of like gave me a little bit of mentorship along my way of like kind of throughout like the end of college, whatever. And I ended up winning that said fellowship and I'm now going to be producing that film in July. And yes, other people had kind of told me about this and whatever. And like, there's a world where I could have found this on my own, but I really don't know if I would have done it, would have prevailed, if you will, without knowing this person. And to me, I'm just like, look at that seed, oh my God, sophomore year Caitlin planted a seed that in a way didn't quite grow until November of 2025. That's like what, 2 or 3 years later? Like some of these seeds, like they feel like nothing in the beginning. You have that conversation and you're just like, okay, that was nice. And you never know like what could happen down the road. And on that note too, everything can be a seed. I'm talking about mostly career things here, but every single event that you go to, like this is why networking events are so important. If you needed a push to go do one of those, or even just social events, especially like I know like the artistic community kind of, I was gonna say in Hawaii, but also everywhere just has like events and like workshops and whatever. And just going to those, like you just broaden the surface area of where luck can find you. Never forget it, divas. And even like, you guys know I love to like make gym metaphors, but every day that you go to the gym, you go on your hot girl walk, you do whatever movement that you've committed to, that's a seed to feeling your best, looking your best, if that's what you care about. Like everything you do is a seed. Even, dare I say, mindset shifts like this are seeds for almost like what your new resting brain will be like by planting the seed of maybe changing a behavior that you don't like that much, per se. And you doing that little by little, even if it's hard in the beginning, by a few months in the future, a few years in the future, you planted that seed of trying to work on that behavior of yours, that tendency, that bad habit. And that is you planting a seed for an effortless way of living in the future. And I'm like, oh my God, wait, I love that so much. Even I was having a conversation with one of my coworkers and I was telling her, you know what's so funny, back to the point of manifesting, I'd written in my journal that I wanted to work at this coffee shop for, I think it was like a year beforehand. Like, I want to work here. I think it's so freaking cute. And like, I just was like, I see myself here. It's going to be incredible. It's going to be awesome. Might I add, it is incredible and awesome. But I just feel like we were talking about how whatever led me to this job and what led her to that job and like the things that have come out of said job, like some of our closest friends that we have in our current present life are because of working this job. And like that is so insane. And the things that just come out of and blossom from just these little decisions that you make. And it's just so interesting. On that note too of jobs and entire like endeavors being seeds, I think that's a huge one. And if you need any sort of push to like not give up because you're not being rewarded for the work that you're putting into something, usually rewarded means financially. Number one, let's talk about internal reward and like actual like contentment and like feeling good about your life. What's that word? Fulfilling, fulfillment. That's super important. And I think a lot of things in our life bring us that, and we expect money, and it's like, okay, well, like you're kind of depleting your fulfillment because you're expecting money out of it. My biggest example here, number one, that job, great point of like, it's an entire huge all-encompassing thing that's in my life right now is an entire job. And so much has come out of that just because of planting those seeds, whatever, in my journal and then applying, whatever. And that's just so crazy to me and a fun way to examine your own life. But my best example here, guys, is me on the podcast. I've been doing this for over a year now. And, in August, that's going to be 2 years of me doing this podcast. I hope and pray to God that by then I will have gotten paid some money. Update, still haven't been, if you were curious. But number one, fulfillment. I think that we think of gratification to only be monetary, but like truly we get so much fulfillment from a lot of things. And like I said, money can cloud that. And secondly, mind me if I sound a little crazy, but I'm like, I would not be surprised in the slightest if me being as consistent as I have been with this podcast and working at it and loving it and blah, 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 like all of what I'm doing for it does blossom one day and does like fucking pay off. Does pay off. I wouldn't be surprised. And you know what? If I'm wrong, whoops, at least I'm being emotionally and like creatively fulfilled by this. But like, you know what I mean? Like, how many things have you perhaps started and not made money off of within the first couple weeks or months, and you just given up because you're like, well, it's just not working? Like, I just think that good shit takes time. Meh. And that sucks to hear. And honestly, personally, that sucks to hear because like, I put a lot of time and effort into this and into other things in my life that I don't get compensated for. But I think that viewing it as a seed and being able to view these big things as a seed is so powerful, and I think can really give you that fire under your ass to keep going. Because honestly, at times, the bigger the seed, maybe you can call it a bulb if you will, it's a big seed if you're not familiar, those can probably, that's what's going to transpire into like the big stuff. This is me manifesting too, guys, but do you know what I mean? Like, if this is any sign at all to start that business, to just like try something and just keep going, keep pushing. Number one, it's a great test, because if you're able to do something for so long without being monetarily compensated or like getting a shitload of praise, I don't even know. If you're able to do that internally for yourself, like that's a sign that you can keep doing it. Like, to me, being able to do this for this long just shows me that once I can make this perhaps some sort of flow of income, you never know, it just shows me that like you don't even have to be worried about losing inspiration, losing passion, whatever. I mean, you know, some people that does happen down the road, but this is just further confirmation to myself of like, you're not doing this for money, you're doing this because you love it. And if it does kind of reward you in that way in the future, hell yeah, because I can keep doing this shit for free. And I don't know, like I feel like honestly, yes, I want to stress the little things like meeting every single person you can and getting to know them and whatever. Big, maybe biggest point of today is if there's something that you are pursuing and trying to do and you're not being rewarded, like sometimes that just means you're planting like a real big seed and it's going to really blossom and grow for you in the future. And like, you just got to keep putting that work in and keep watering it and keep nurturing it and keep showing up for yourself and maybe others if they're involved too, because like you just can't, if you take care of a seed right, there's no way it won't bloom. In fact, also, I've been trying to view social media like that recently as well. I have been stuck in 300 to 800 view jail. Finally, guys, fucking finally, I got my first 5,000 view TikTok after a year and a half of podcasting. Mind you, as we know, I haven't been that consistent with social media. I've been really working on it recently, and like I haven't been being the most creative. You guys know. But number one, yay, planting a bunch of seeds to finally have something do decent. We love that. Who knows? Maybe one person became a new listener after that. Maybe 20 people did. I have no idea. But that was exciting. And basically my view on social media for this is we like to downplay these numbers that we see. Yes, having 20,000 views is better than 300 views. And people love to talk about 300, 500, 800 view jail. Yes, it does feel like a jail. However, those are 300 people. Imagine if for some reason I just got really lucky with those 300 and like 50 of them were like, damn, I like this podcast, girl. You know, like we like to, number one, downplay those numbers. And two, like that's at least one new person who could be interested genuinely every single time you post a video. Almost every time you post something, most likely there's somebody, at least one person who genuinely really likes it. So that's another thought of just like, even if you're not seeing the numbers that you want, like don't downplay those numbers. Every single time you post, it is a seed. You will reach somebody. Like I've definitely seen a little bit of growth because of posting more. I don't know which videos it's from or who it is or whatever, but it's because I'm just planting seeds consistently and being consistent. And it's not this huge overflowing amount of crops headed my way and tons of new listeners, but slow and steady, I guess, girl. But my overall point here is this mindset of seeing everything as a seed, every new person, every new thing you do, every big thing that you're doing and you're maybe stuck in the middle of it, every tiny thing that you do, going into a new coffee shop, talking to a new person, applying for something really random and weird, just showing up to a random event. Every single thing you do is a seed. And if you really look back on your life, you realize that like, oh my God, like everything that you've ever done probably is connected to something that has happened beforehand. And like, okay, if you think, okay, no shit, that's life, Caitlin, but that's a really abundant way to think about things. And if you think that, opportunity is absolutely everywhere. It's everywhere. Like, you can't even deny that. If you think about someone that you've met that's given you something far down the road, and you've like kind of gotten something out of that, and if you view every single person like that, not that you need to get things out of people, might I add, like, you know the freaking category in which I'm talking about this, but tell me if I'm wrong. There is opportunity everywhere if you see everything as a seed. If you don't expect gratification instantly from an interaction, from showing up to something, from starting a project, if you don't expect that kind of gratification instantly, you will most likely, obviously not from every single thing you do, but it will make you say yes more. If you look at everything as a potential for opportunity, you will say yes more because you're not going to walk away disappointed. If you look at everything like a seed, you are so much more likely to do more, expect less, and receive tenfold. I don't know, guys. Like, I think this is one of those ones I'm going to be taking with me. On that note too, just an update. Definitely, I'd say last week's episode is one of those ones I'm like, wow, definitely changed my personal life. Like, you know when you have those little life lessons and like the big ones that you're like, yeah, like that's burned into my brain. That was definitely a lot of last week for me. And I even had a moment that like I had to tell myself that episode and teach myself that episode, and surprise, surprise, it worked. But guys, I really, really hope that this one translates, because this just makes me so excited, and it makes me excited for you to see opportunity everywhere in the world for you, in every face, in every place. You better rhyme all the damn time. But I'm really excited for you, and there's so much goodness coming your way. And not only that, remember that you are a seed for other people. You can give people opportunities. You can help them achieve their dreams. And if there's one thing I love as a floating rock star, it's that we can be kind and make the world a better place through ourselves and give that to other people too. And then it becomes reciprocal, and then everything's awesome and beautiful and amazing. And yeah, the world is your oyster. There are seeds everywhere for you. I'm so excited for you to plant those, water them, watch them bloom. Maybe if anything like that's even happened too, my DMs are open. Let a hoe know. I'll congratulate you, diva. But yeah, thank you guys so much for listening. I'm excited to go and do the rest of my work today. Yay! And yeah, thanks so much for listening. Follow the pod at floating.rock.podcast. Subscribe on YouTube. Rate the pod on Spotify and Apple. I'll love you forever. Might I add one more time? Sometimes it helps for people to know why I even say that. Basically, when you do that, it shows other people, wow, like, I'm going to maybe look at this podcast. What is this? Floating Rock? Oh, she has 55 stars. Like, must be a good podcast. I'll listen. Rather than looking and being like, wow, she has 5 stars, which is fine. But that's why it helps me out. If you enjoy the pod and want other people to perhaps listen or to support me, like, that's what your rating does for me. Thanks so much. Love you. And yeah, I'll see you guys next week. Bye bye.